good morning, my friends. Welcome you to this session that I call Leadership Lessons with Dr. Sten. My name is Stanley Maposa, and I will be discussing with you today a subject that I call Reflections in Leadership. I would like to emphasize the importance of reflection as a leader as we end the first month of 2021, which follows a tumultuous and consequential year where we were involved in what is called social distancing, avoiding large gatherings, and all that has been caused by COVID-19. I think it is time for us to start to develop a habit of self-reflection. For some people, it will be the first time to sit on your own and to ponder about issues of life, where you are going, where you are coming from, why you are doing what you are doing, and why you are not doing what you are not doing. And this is a discipline that is very, very, very important for all of us to reflect as leaders. It's not counterintuitive, but it is very, very productive. This discipline of reflection is used when people want to assess themselves and to learn from their past, and in the process prepare for the future, how the future holds and what the future is all about and what it's going to bring in the year that is coming ahead. In order for you to reach your potential and effectiveness as a leader, you need to be careful about having time for reflection, time for review, and time for insights. I'll repeat that again. Time for reflection, time for review, and time for insights. This is a very powerful time that you need to have as a leader on your own. I would like to give some 6 reasons why Jesus had this time of solitude and reflection over people. He had come for people. We know his mission was to reach out to people, to save the lost, to connect them with God through salvation. But in 6 places, there may be more which you can find, but in 6 places I find that Jesus had an opportunity to be alone. Instead of having multitudes around him, instead of having his disciples around him, he had time to be alone, what I call solitude. And there are 6 reasons why he did so. The first one is found in the book of Luke chapter 4 verse 1 to 2, as well as in verses 14 to 15, where after baptism, Jesus has to spend 40 days preparing and praying in the wilderness. And after that, we know that Satan to tempt him, and he had to start his public ministry. Why did he do that? In the first place, he was preparing for a major task. And I want to connect this with you as a leader, that when you have a task ahead of you that you need to prepare for, you can't prepare when you are in the multitude. You can't prepare when you are amongst a lot of people. So you need to set aside time to prepare for a major task. Just like Jesus did, he prepared for his major task by being alone in the wilderness after his baptism, 40 days to prepare for a major task of his public ministry. The second one is found in the book of Mark chapter 6, verse 30 to 32. I'm not going to be reading these verses because I'm talking to you as leaders, so you'll read for yourself. Mark chapter 6, verse 30 to 32. We find that Jesus sent out his 12 disciples to do ministry. And when they returned, he encouraged them to separate from the people who were following him, as well as the rest of the other people. And why did he do that? The second reason is that he went that in order to recharge after a hard work. After you have done a lot of hard work, you need to have time to recharge. You need to have time to be alone. So Jesus was alone with his 12 disciples, so as to recharge after this great assignment that they had done. I know of some pastors that every Monday is a recharge day. after preaching so hard the whole day, after maybe doing conferences and other meetings on Saturday, the Monday is usually dedicated for the pastor to be at home, recharge, maybe, go out, whatever it is, how you recharge, because you recharge differently, but it's a time that you rest and recharge from the hard work that you have been doing. So don't allow yourself to do so much hard work and you don't have time to recharge. So that's the second reason. The third reason is found in Matthew chapter 14, verse 1 to 13. After Jesus' cousin John the Baptist had been beheaded, they cut off his head. The Bible says Jesus went away by himself. Yes, he was the Son of God, but he went away to grieve. He went away to have an opportunity to grieve and to mourn his cousin John the Baptist. Sometimes we also go into such seasons. During this time of the COVID-19, we lose a lot of our relatives, we lose a lot of our pastor friends, we lose a lot of our workers in the ministry or workers at the workplace where we are involved in day-to-day work. And as a leader, you need to go to a time when you grieve, when you mourn, when you really just allow yourself to cry. And when you cry, it's an opportunity to heal. And Jesus did so when John the Baptist was beheaded. And we know that John the Baptist was Jesus' cousin. And therefore, he, as a man on earth, he had an opportunity to mourn his cousin. There are some people that want to look super spiritual, and they don't want to have time to grieve. They don't want to have time to mourn their relatives that pass away. You always put a face that everything's okay, but that's not good for you as a leader. There are times when you need to grieve and to mourn your loved ones that have gone before us. The reason number 4 is found in Luke chapter 6, verse 12 to 13, where Jesus in his early ministry spent the whole night in prayer alone. The whole night alone in prayer. The next day he was going to choose the 12 disciples. But before choosing the 12 disciples, he did a whole night prayer alone. Why did he do that? What's the reason for doing that? Number 4, you reflect and you go into these seasons as a leader when you are about to make an important decision. There are important decisions in life where you don't just jump and make a decision, but you need to have a time alone, a time to pray, whether it's a decision to who to marry, whether it's a decision who to partner with in business, whether it's a decision which school to go to, whether it's a major decision to buy a house, to buy a car, to change employment, to relocate to another country. There are some of examples of decisions that we make in life, and some people just make those decisions willy-nilly. And I'm challenging you as a leader that before you make any decision, just like Jesus did, you need to be alone and connect with God, connect with yourself in order to have an opportunity to make a major decision. The number 5 reason is found in Luke chapter 22, verse number 39 to 44. It is a time where hours before Jesus was arrested, he was left in the Mount Olive and he went for a short distance away with his disciples to pray. He was in great emotional agony, knowing that he was about to face his death. So it was a time when he was alone, and the reason why he did so, it was the time of distress. It was a time of difficult circumstances. He was about to be arrested, and he spent time with God alone, praying. And some of his prayers are recorded. How he prayed, he says, "Lord, can this cup pass away? But now, because it's your will, I will do what you want to do. But if it was according to me, I would ask this cup to just pass away from me." And it was a moment of distress, a moment of difficulties, almost similar to the moment when he lost his cousin. But this one was about himself. getting arrested, getting, killed for my sins and your sins, and you spent some time alone or for that particular reason. The sixth reason, or the last reason, is that Jesus spent some time to focus on prayer in many times. For example, Luke chapter 16, Luke chapter 5 verse 16. Many times in his ministry, we find Jesus spending a lot of time alone, praying, a lot of time alone, meditating, a lot of time alone, seeking God and searching God about his ministry. And that's exactly what leaders need to be doing as you connect with people, as you reflect with people. And I've come to say to you today, you need an opportunity to reflect. You need an opportunity to be alone. You need an opportunity to seek God. You need an opportunity to check whether you are in the right space for whatever decision you want to take. Before you take it, you need to be saying to yourself, what is it that I need to be doing? Let me give you another example here. There's a man called Winston Churchill. This man called Winston Churchill led Britain, or the UK as we call it right now, in victory during the Second World War. And we read about him that this man always stole some time from his busy schedule as the leader of this nation during these stressful times and seasons for a quiet moment, just for himself, just on his own for himself. And there are many other leaders that have a practice that includes walking in the morning. Sometimes you can walk in the morning alone and experience that reflection time. Walk around your house, walk around your neighborhood, and have a quiet moment amongst yourselves in the early morning. Some people sit down in the morning and pray. Some just sit on their own and sit in the morning and meditate. And that's a practice that leaders need to be doing all the time. If it does not happen, then it does not happen at all. So if you don't do that, whether it's in the morning or it's in the evening or it's night, if you don't do that reflection moment, then you don't do it forever. And you are caught in a busy schedule and the business of the day that does not allow you time to engage. So I've come to say to you, once you are engaged in your day's work, then you tend to slow down. And when you slow down, sometimes you lose a lot of reflection time and a lot of this important time with yourself. All people of impact that I know carve time away from the life's hustle and grind to simply sit with their thoughts. They understand the value of replaying the tapes of the day, reviewing what has been happening, assessing, and also some just solitude on your own. Another thing that seems to grab all our time is that we reflect in a rushed way. And as the leaders, we then begin to take decisions that are not correct because they are rushed decisions. Rushing like a headless chicken, a headless chicken, away from some people will take a lot of toll for you. So you don't need to just be in a rushed moment like a headless chicken. Just relax and calm down as a leader. And I know this, especially in difficult times like this, in these days, when some are blinking, some are buzzing, some are chiming in technology. A lot of us are very much into the technology space, and you can't put your phone down and reflect. You can't put your phone down as a leader and reflect. You are always on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on YouTube, on all these channels, and you want to reply and to comment on everything that's happening. And that's dangerous for you as a leader. You need to have time to reflect and just allow some of these things to just pass you, because you can't catch up with these things. It's a fast world. Maybe young people would, but some of us that are a bit older, it's very difficult to catch up with all this buzzing and chiming in technology that requires a lot of our time and distracts us from the things that we need to be doing. Some time ago, I worked in an NGO, in an international NGO, and I remember very well that as you climb the ladder in these organizations and in these companies, the pressure to make decisions becomes very, very high. And the consequences of the decisions that you make become very, very high. So you need, therefore, some time to reflect before you make a decision, before you put together a strategy, before you hire someone, before you fire someone, before you sign a contract with a particular organization. You need to reflect. Before you sign any document, you need to read it and reflect it, because you find yourself, you have put a signature on something, and that signature is there forever, and you are accountable for the signature that you have put there. And there are some people that know the game very well. They rush you. They rush you and say, hey, sign. I want to go. I want to do this. Please sign. And because of the pressure that the people are giving you, and maybe you want things done quickly, you don't sit down and read these documents fully. You don't sit down and read what you are signing for, and you don't sit down and reflect on what you are signing for. I call this a pre-decision phase. Before you make any decision, you must have something that's called a pre-decision phase. I know leaders in the church, you need to have that pre-decision phase moment. Before you choose your leaders, before you put anyone in charge of anything in the house of God, because primarily this is not your house. Primarily this is God's house. So that pre-decision phase is quite important. Sometimes you also call other people to come and help you in your pre-decision phase. Maybe there are 2 or 3 other leaders who are in your inner circle to come and say, please, can you come and help me? I want to make a decision here. I want to do something here. What do you say? Well, you brainstorm, the 2 or 3 of you, but there is also a time on your own that you say, after you have heard what others are saying, then you have your own pre-decision phase to sit down and listen to the inner person and say, if I'm going to make this decision, is it not going to haunt me for the rest of my life? If I'm going to fire this person, is it not going to haunt me for the rest of my life? If I'm going to hire this person, am I hiring the person that is a true fit of what I do here, of the true fit of the mission, vision, and the core values of this particular organization? So I said in that time when I was in that organization, I sometimes really felt being pressurized for decisions of significance, but instead of rushing to judgment and blurting out a yes or no, I would sometimes calmly and plainly say, I am ready, I'm not ready to make a decision now, or I will make a decision tomorrow. Some people say, I will sleep over it. And when you are sleeping over it and you are thinking about it overnight, you come back tomorrow, you have a better decision to make. Sometimes you say, can I have an extension of an hour? Or sometimes can I have an extension of 2 days or 3 days? And in the process during that time, you make a decision, whether you have asked for a week. I'm not talking about procrastinating. I'm not talking about really delaying things to be done. I'm talking about reflection. That there are times when you really need to reflect about things so that you really make decisions that are very, very accurate for yourself and others. Sometimes I felt great pressure to please people by answering quickly. You want to answer quickly when you are asked a question. You want to answer quickly when you are called to come to a place. You want to jump and go there quickly, and in the process pleasing people. There's pressure for doing that, but there is also this wisdom of sitting a little bit and waiting, sitting a little bit and meditating, sitting a little bit and making some judgment as a leader, some thoughtful decision, as I would like to call it. thoughtful and wise decisions that it's about people's lives. It's about the future of someone else. It's about also the legacy that you're going to be leaving. So some of the decisions that we make require a lot of reflection, a lot of solitude, a lot of prayer, a lot of thinking, a lot of consultation. And when you do that, you help yourself and you help others. So as I conclude this discussion, I want to encourage you during this time to seek guidance as a leader, to reflect in all the decisions that you're going to take, to think very, very, very deeply about every decision that you're going to take, and finally to pray. And when you do that, you enable yourself to decide better and to make informed decisions that are not rushed decisions. And God bless you.